That's a lot of headphones. Quick bit of housekeeping. The air conditioner unit is on, if you can hear something in the background, because it's boiling hot in the UK and I do not want to be sat here sweating in front of you. Regardless, we're here to talk about headphones. And although I've done hundreds of headphone reviews, it feels like, and comparisons and that sort of stuff, I've never sat here and just given you my thoughts on what I think are the best headphones to buy at the moment. There's a whole bunch of cans in front of me. Some of them are older than the current releases, and some of them are the current releases from this year. But I keep getting requests from you guys to give you my best overall headphones. There's no such thing as that at all, but what I can do is talk about my favorites. So let's get into it. I've been trying to think about which order to do this in, but to be honest, there's no real order. You know, you could go from lowest price to highest price, or, you know, sound focused to ANC focused, but I haven't got time for that. I thought, let's just put them in front of me in a completely random order and just pick one pair up and talk about them, and place them on the Mark Ellis Reviews headphone stand, which we 3D printed over there a few days ago. A few rough edges, but it's interesting. It could be going somewhere, this. Merch. Right, okay, let's just pick these first. Okay, Beats. These are the Beats Studio Pro, and I used these relentlessly a couple of years ago. To be honest, they haven't had a huge amount of use since then because of everything else that's come out since then, basically, but they were my staple. And the main reason, there's two reasons actually. One of them was because of the case. I don't think anything has beaten the Beats Studio Pro headphone case. It's just so small. It's flexible. Okay, it's not hard, which means headphones might take a bit more of a battering, but it doesn't matter. So the case is a big deal, and also, because I'm an Apple fanboy, so is the inclusion of the Apple chip, which means it can connect to everything seamlessly. The audio is fantastic. I haven't put these on for a while, but they are very, very comfortable as well. The noise cancelling's fantastic. I think they look great as well. Beats don't tend to update their headphones very often, but I think if you are after a pair of Apple compatible, decent sounding headphones, which do look good, I think, in my opinion, they're not too garish. I know you can get some brighter colours than this. I think the Beats Studio Pro, mainly because of the case, are utterly fantastic. Right, another random pair of headphones. Nothing. These are the Nothing Headphone A. Now, sticking with headphone cases and stuff, because I'm a bit of a headphone case bore, they come with a bag, which isn't my preferred method of carrying headphones around because it's just a bag and it's a bit flimsy, but for the price, you tend to get bags with headphones at that level. You get all the cables and stuff that you would expect, and they are one of the best sounding pairs of headphones in their price range, in my humble opinion. The really interesting thing about the Headphone A is that I think they're a better buy than the Headphone 1. So the Headphone 1 is Nothing's flagship pair of ANC headphones. They came out before these, but I just think these are better. I think they're cheaper. I think the audio quality, okay, the other ones are tuned by Kef, but it doesn't really matter. You know, if you A/B test them, you can tell a bit of a difference, but it doesn't, you know, no one does that basically. They are an acquired taste in terms of what they look like. You know, they've got this kind of translucent design, but I think, particularly in white, I think they look pretty cool. I think even I can pull these off. The Nothing Headphone A, in terms of a budget pair of headphones with very good noise cancelling, really good audio, fantastic battery life. I can't remember what the battery life is, but it's ridiculous. We'll put it down here. Oh, nearly forgot. Physical controls, proper dials and switches and rockers and stuff. They're wonderful. I love what Nothing does. They can be a bit controversial in terms of the size of their product portfolio, but when it comes to headphones, they're really good. Okay, next up, let's do a bit of a jumble up in front of me, so it's a bit random. Let's go for these. Ooh, these are interesting. So, these are by a brand new audio company called Daisy Sound. They are the Daisy One. They are designed in California, and they're brilliant. They're really, really impressive. They're tuned by ex-Harman engineers. If you know who Harman are, that means something, trust me. And they don't have any touch controls. They have this lovely dial, which has got one of the nicest weightings on it in terms of that kind of twiddleability. The design I like personally. I think the way they sit on my head with my lack of hair doesn't look too bad. I think they don't stick out too much. They're very, very comfortable. They're very light. They have fantastic battery life, and they're from a new company. So every other pair of headphones in front of me is from a big brand, a really big brand that has been around decades, basically. Daisy Sound came along in 2026 and said, look, we want to make a pair of headphones that compete against these big boys. They're not cheap, by the way. You're going to have to lay down a bit of money for these, but that pricing does put them in the same category as Bose and Sony, etc. So they have to be good, but to come in completely, wet behind the ears, even though they've got Harman engineers behind them, is really brave. I did a full breakdown of these on my Tech Diary channel. We'll link to that at the end of this video if you want to go and check that out. But yeah, Daisy Sound. The case is a bit big. That's the one thing I would say about it, but it's a good case because it has the clasp. Daisy Sound, you've entered the market with aplomb. Although this video isn't sponsored, we do have some fantastic brand partners who help me keep the lights on in this studio. One of those partners is Brain FM. Brain FM is basically an app for your iPhone or your Android device that pipes music into your head that can make you more productive. It's not guaranteed, obviously, but I can't work without it. And we've got a fantastic deal for you. Check that link down below. Next, I know what's in front of me, I'll stop doing that. Right, Sony. We have 2 entrants from Sony, and I've just realised I've left one pair at home. Fantastic, and the reason they're at home is because I'm using them quite a lot. Let's start with the XM6. The XM6 came off the back of the XM5, obviously. There's more than 2 entrants from Sony in this. We'll hit the other one later. The first entrant from Sony is the XM6, and the XM5 I wasn't a big fan of. I think they made a few mistakes there in terms of the audio quality, in terms of the case, which was huge. I don't know, they didn't go down well. Go down very well with a lot of reviewers like myself and Sony fans. So the XM6 came along, and I was a little bit trepidatious, I'll be completely honest, and I shouldn't have been, because they are wonderful, wonderful headphones. I think the Sony XM6, can I say this? I think they're still the best overall all-rounder ANC headphones on the market. I think when you take into account sound quality, ANC, which is still utterly brilliant, the best out there. And what else? Comfort, case, they have fixed the case. The case is a lot smaller than the XM5 case, and it has that magnetic clasp. Everything else is wonderful. And the price, I think, again, nothing is cheap these days. Everything's getting more expensive, but I think Sony have nailed it with the XM6. And if you've been thinking about these, just get them. The other pair, which aren't here at the moment, but I have done a full review of, are the Sony Collection, which are a kind of supercharged XM6 in terms of the pricing, the positioning, the quality of the build, the design, and the audio is better as well. So you can think of the Collection as an upgraded pair of Sony XM6 headphones, which, if you've got the money for them, I think they're a very good buy. I think they look fantastic. They're incredibly comfortable. They do sound wonderful. I like the case. It has this kind of handle thing going on, which is interesting. But like I say, they're not here, they're at home, but I do use them quite a lot. That said, the XM6 quite often, I haven't put them on the stand, are my go-to because they're so good. Next up, let's go for Bose, because that kind of comes naturally after Sony. They're the 2 titans of the ANC headphone market. Firstly, the case is wonderful, really nice. These are the Bose QuietComfort Ultra 2s, which are brilliant. Utterly brilliant. Again, they are joined by another pair of headphones from Bose, which I'll come on to in a second. But in terms of noise cancelling, which is it's up there with Sony, there's so little in it between the Sonys and the Bose in terms of the XM6 versus the QuietComfort Ultra 2s. But yeah, the noise cancelling is wonderful. You can wear them all day without really feeling them on your head. They look very premium. I think they look more premium than the Sony XM6, and they sound utterly fantastic. And they're Bose. Bose are they know what they're doing with headphones, and they have such a big fan base. If you fly anywhere, you see so many people wearing Bose headphones. And normally it's the pair of headphones they bought 8 years ago that are still working. They're a bit rough around the edges, but they still work. And in my experience, that longevity absolutely plays out. So the Ultras are wonderful. The other pair of Bose headphones, which I don't think get enough credit, are these, which are the regular QuietComfort. These are the green version, which I do like, and they're quite a bit cheaper than these, quite a bit cheaper than a lot of the headphones that I'm going to show you today. And they are brilliant. They sound fantastic. The noise cancelling is up there with these. Don't break the headphone stand, Mark. Let's put them on the headphone stand. They are up there in terms of noise cancelling and everything, really, compared to the Ultra 2s. These are slightly better because they have to be, because they're more expensive and they have better materials and stuff. But as a pair of regular chuck them around, take them everywhere, travel with them everywhere. Headphones, which don't sit on my headphone stand very well. I think these take some beating. I think all-rounders, if I had to pick one pair of headphones and take them with me, not worrying about them, just chuck them around, it would either be actually the XM6 or it would be these, because they just work. Bose, you have to be in this list of headphones because you are fantastic, but those are the two that I'd pick out. Oh, fantastic case as well. Okay, next up, let's go to the other end of the scale, which is the expensive end of the scale. So this is Bang & Olufsen, and this is the H100s. Firstly, the case, not really up my street. What is it? It's lovely, it's beautiful, it's made from leather, the zip's very high quality and it feels very nice. It's got nice internal kind of thing going on and pockets and stuff, but it's huge. It's absolutely massive and I don't really know how to carry it. Most headphone cases, you just get them like that and you chuck them in your bag. This feels like you're supposed to walk around like that with it, which isn't me at all. And equally, chucking that into your bag, it takes up a lot of space. Anyway, I'm spending way too long on the headphone case here because these are the headphones. They're eye-wateringly expensive, really, really expensive, compared to, in fact, they are the most expensive pair of headphones I have on this table. But you do spend more on B&O. If you're going to buy a Bang & Olufsen stereo or whatever pair of headphones, it's going to be expensive, and that's what they are. And I think the people who buy B&O stuff know that. This won't be a surprise. They do have some lovely touches. They have these dials here that you twiddle around for volume and stuff, and you can also dial in the noise cancelling and take it out. But they are just lovely and they sound wonderful, as you would expect from B&O. They sound utterly fantastic. The noise cancelling is very good. It's not the best on the market at all, but then I don't think you're paying for that. I think you're paying for B&O, you're paying for the design, you're paying for the audio, but it's still very good, the noise cancelling, don't get me wrong. They're a lovely pair of headphones, but would I buy them myself? These were sent to me by B&O. They do have to go back at some stage. Personally, I would much rather spend a third of what these cost and get something which in my mind still sounds very good and still has very good noise cancelling. But I completely understand why people buy these. Next up, let's give Apple some love, because these are the AirPods Max 2. Let's put them straight on there. They are the best version of AirPods Max I've ever heard. I've had extensive time with the first generation, with the USB-C generation, and now this generation. And these are the best sounding AirPods Max. They have the best noise cancelling, which is saying something because AirPods Max noise cancelling has always been incredible. And they are still a lovely pair of headphones in terms of the design, the build quality. Yes, they are heavy. That's definitely an issue, I think, for a lot of people, which I completely understand. I've never really had that big an issue with them being heavy. It's never been that big a deal for me, really, because I don't know, it just hasn't. But you do feel the weight when you're kind of leaning forward, leaning back like that. And arguably wearing these for 5 hours versus wearing something like the Bose QuietComfort for 5 hours, the both are going to be far more comfortable after that period of time. It's a toss-up, isn't it? It's a game of compromises, this sort of stuff. If you want really good build quality and aluminium and stuff, your headphones are going to be a bit more substantial and heavier. But everything else about these is fantastic. However, if you're an Apple person and you just want a pair of over-ear headphones rather than a pair of AirPods Pro, get these. They also have the best controls on the market because they're physical, so another twiddly thing there. The digital crown as it's known, and one button. That's it. Two buttons because you can press that as well. So very limited buttons, which is good because you don't have to remember which one's which. And secondly, no touch controls. Apple, my voice went really weird then. No touch controls. They are brilliant. That's still an issue, but I've come to terms with it. It's fine. A top headphone list would not be a top headphone list without Bowers and Wilkins. These are the Bowers. Oh, I've brought the wrong ones. No, I've actually brought the wrong. Oh, okay. These are the PX7S3s. They are really good. If you don't want to spend too much money on a pair of Bowers and Wilkins, this is going fantastically. Bowers and Wilkins headphones. Get the PX7s. Whether it's the S2s, the S3, whatever, they are brilliant because you're not spending top money. but you're getting all of the Bowers & Wilkins goodness, the design, the sound quality, everything about them. The ones that I meant to bring in are the PX8 S2s, which are their flagship, best quality ANC headphones you can get from Bowers & Wilkins. They are stunning. They're the best sounding ANC headphones I've ever heard. They are better than the H100s in my humble opinion. If you don't agree with that, get involved down below. But for me, the PX8 S2s are just wonderful. They're not here. But the one thing to bear in mind with Bowers & Wilkins, and Bowers & Wilkins, that they're very honest about this, is that they spend more time getting the sound right. The audio for them is absolutely the top priority, which means because the drivers are doing both the audio and the noise cancelling, it means that the noise cancelling gets its second fiddle, really. It's got better over the years, but it's nothing compared to the XM6, for instance. So the PX7s and the PX8s, whatever series it is that you get, they will have slightly worse noise cancelling compared to something like the Sonys or the Bose, but what you get in return for that is better build quality and incredible audio. The PX8 S2s, I know they're not here, but trust me, are wonderful. Okay, the last pair. I hinted earlier that Sony had 3 entrants in this list of my favourite headphones, and the reason for that is because I could not include these, which are my favourite noise cancelling headphones ever. The Sony XM4. The reason they're my favourite ever is 2 reasons. One is because just the combination of everything. The case, the audio quality, the comfort, they're so comfortable. I've not worn these for a while, it's been a while. They're just so comfortable. They're ridiculously comfortable. And the noise cancelling, even by today's standards, is right up there. It's incredible. So that combination of everything made them my favourite noise cancelling headphones ever. And also, the other reason is because they helped me grow this channel. I started this channel when these first came out, and as a result of that, it was just fantastic, fortuitous timing, and my audience grew largely around these and some Apple products. So thank you, Sony. That really worked out quite nicely for me. So these remain my favourite pair of noise cancelling headphones. If you can get a pair today that have been well looked after, I don't think you can get them new anymore anywhere. Maybe there's some residual stock out there somewhere. But if you can get a nice used example, snap them up. Get them. They are fantastic. Ooh, one thing I completely forgot to mention earlier is the fact that out of all these headphones, the AirPods Max have the best transparency mode, which, if you weren't aware, is when you press a button and the entire world around you comes into the headphones, so you can hear your surroundings and you can hear your own voice as well, which is fantastic for taking telephone calls. It's really big for me. It's one of those things that it has to be good, otherwise I can't use them for taking calls and that sort of stuff. And for some reason, Apple has the march on this. Out of all these headphones, these beat them quite comprehensively when it comes to the transparency side of things. Guys, that is my list of headphones. There's lots more out there. This is it's a little bit like picking your favorite footballer, or naming the best, the top 10 albums of all time. No one is going to agree with this at all. And I've left certain headphones out, not on purpose, but because I had to just pick a whole bunch, and these just came to me straight away. So get involved down below. Let me know what you think in terms of your own favorite headphones and what you use every single day. And if you haven't hit subscribe yet, guys, you know what to do. Click that button. Cheers.